السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome to a new night in رمضان Nights 2023. أهلا بيكم في ليلة جديدة من رمضان نايتس 2023. النهارده معانا العبقري. أنا ما بعرفش أقول له غير كده بصراحة، يعني والله لا بطبل له وبعدين لا بطبل له، يلا مش مشكلة.
تسلم يا مستر محمد، جزاك الله خير. ربنا
والله
يبارك فيك
العظيم
يا رب.
بجد هو
كتير
فعلا.
عليا والله، حقيقي
لا لا
الكلام
لا
ده.
لا أنت عارف يعني إحنا
حقيقي
اللقب.
بخجل جدا من اللقب ده تحديدا والله.
لا خالص، بص هو
حقيقي.
هو جاي راكب عليك مالوش حل. هو أنت راجل ما
ربنا
شاء الله
يبارك
عليك.
فيك، من حسن ظنك والله. ربنا يحفظك.
مستر لطفي من الناس اللي عندهم محتوى مش طبيعي. يعني اقول لكم حاجه هو يمكن ما يعرفش. من اسبوع كده كان في حاجه عملها دكتوره هند الخيال عن للتيتشرز، زي مسابقه كده، وبيعملوا ايفالويشن للتيتشرز. يعني التيتشر بيعمل سيشن كده على الهواء وهم بيعملوا ايفالويشن. انا قعدت حضرت يا جماعه. الراجل ده مسك السيشن، والله العظيم الكلام اللي قاله يتحط في كتاب. هو ما يعرفش الموضوع،
ربنا
ما حدش
يبارك لك.
عارف ان انا حضرت اصلا غير بعد كده لما قلت.
انا عرفت بعد السيشن.
بعد كده
عرفت بعد السيشن فعلا.
والله يا جماعه. طبعا كان تامر انور ما شاء الله، دكتور تامر ودكتوره هند ودكتوره غاده ومستر لطفي. بس بما ان هو ضيفنا النهارده، هو كان الختام هناك، كانوا بيحلوا بيه يعني.
الله يبارك
الراجل
لك.
مسك السيشن يا جماعه من اول ثانيه لاخر ثانيه. انا بقيت قاعد ايه ده يا عم؟ ايه ده؟ انا خايف اشتغل قدامك يا عم والله. والله
حبيبي جزاك الله خير، احنا
حاجه
كلنا
كده.
والله بنتعلم منكم، انتوا اساتذتنا.
لا طبعا مس مريم بتقول لك مستر عامل كتاب مستر لطفي من الكتب الرائعه. انا اشتريت الكتاب ده اول ما نزل يا جماعه. بصوا، عارفين الزيتونه؟ هم بيقولوا كده بالبلدي كده في الخليج، وبيقول لك الزبده، يعني اللي هي ايه
ايوه
الخلاصه.
الزبده، صح. ده حقيقي.
خلاصه الليله كلها بقى بتاع التيتشنج دي موجوده في الكتاب. حاجه كده جميله جدا يعني.
حبيبي
هو
تسلم
يقول
يا
لكم
رب،
اسمه
اشكرك
بقى
يا رب.
وينزل لكم اللينكات. كل الكونتاكت وكل الحاجات بتاعت الدكتور فيها تنزل. انا مش هطول عليكم عشان تستمتعوا بالراجل ده. انا بس حبيت اديله حقه لان هو من الناس فعلا اللي انا شخصيا بتعلم منهم كتير جدا
الله
جدا.
يبارك فيك، وانا برضو بتعلم منك، كلنا بنتعلم من بعض.
ربنا يكرمك يا حبيبي.
تسلم تسلم يا مستر محمد،
يلا
ربنا يبارك
معاك
فيك يا
لطفي
رب.
الباجوري. اتفضل يا حبيبي، هحطك.
طيب جزاك الله كل خير. طيب I see that many of you are already friends, so I don't need to introduce myself. Just Lotfy Albagory, a teacher of English and teacher trainer. Okay, so let's get started directly. Let me share the screen with you first. Okay.
المحاضره بتتسجل يا جماعه، ما تقلقوش، عشان بس الناس تقول لي سجل. المحاضره بتتسجل، ما تقلقوش.
Okay, let's start with a short warm-up slide thing.
Today we shall learn the basics of letter writing. But sir,
Now, can you see and hear? Is there sound or not?
Yes,
Sounds
great.
okay? Yeah,
Yes.
okay, fine. Just making sure.
I learned how to write letters when I was in first standard. Here, I'll show you. Today we shall learn the basics of letter writing. But sir, I learned how to write letters when I was in first standard. Here, I'll show you. Not those letters, Subandi. I mean writing letters to actual people to tell them about your life. But sir, why do we need letters to do that? We have Facebook. Subandi, phones are not allowed in the classroom. Now, open your notebook and write a letter to your grandmother about what you did in the holidays. But sir... What now, Subandi? I live with my grandmother. She already knows what I did in the holidays. Fine. Then write to your aunt telling her about your new bicycle. I'm getting a new bicycle? What a great surprise. How do you know, sir? No, Subandi, you're not getting a new bicycle. Then how can I lie to my aunt in the letter? Then just write a letter to anybody you need to talk to. Sir? No more questions. Only writing. Everybody write the letter as homework and bring it tomorrow. But sir, I need to... No buts. Just do what I told you. Okay, sir. Okay, class. I hope you have all done your homework. What about you, Subandi? Have you written your letter? Yes, sir. Good. Now come here and read it out to the class. Okay. Who have you written your letter to? I have written it to you, sir. Me? Yes, sir. You asked me to write it to someone I needed to talk to. And I needed to talk to you. Well, read it out then. Dear sir, I am writing you this letter to ask if I can write a letter to my cousin in Tinkletown. Supandi, do you think this is a joke? But sir, you wouldn't answer my questions. So I thought I would write a letter and clarify. Supandi, enough of this nonsense. Please get a note from your mother tomorrow. Okay, sir. But sir... What now? What should my mother write the note about? Should she tell you about her summer holidays? Supandi!
Okay, so did you enjoy the video? Did you enjoy it? Okay, fine. How can you describe it in one word? So use one word, only one word to describe this video. In the chat box, please. Great, yeah. Truth, oh, well, right. Okay. Excellent, yeah. Fine. This is just a sample warm-up to start our session in a nice way. Now, I believe that you don't know anything about the session. You don't even know the title, right? Do you know anything about the title of the session beforehand? Okay. So you don't know the title. Now I will give you, so can you see the screen now? I believe yes. Okay, so these are 5 codes. I would like you to read the codes and see or decide the main topic of them all. What do they have in common? What is the main topic of the 5 codes? From these codes, try to guess the topic of the session. Then write or add it to the chat box. So you have 2 minutes for this. Read, decide the topic, and then try to guess the topic of the session, the title. Now, yeah, tell me the topic. Yes, what is the topic? So, like, Nisreen says TTT versus STT. Maybe. What do you think? Do you agree with Nisreen? If you agree with Nisreen's idea, please write one. If you don't agree, suggest another title for the session. So you all agree. Well, yes, that's true. The session is, so let me write the title here, reducing TTT. Okay, and now a simple task for you. So we have here 4 acronyms, TTT, QTT, UTT, STT. Could you please try to work out what these acronyms refer to? For example, first one, TTT refers to teacher talking time. Teacher talking time. What about the other ones? Could you write the number, please? Please write the number. So write 1 teacher talking time like that. Now, please write the number before your answer. You know, yeah, like Mariana, 4 student talking time. Okay, fine, good. What about 2 and 3? Yes, 1 teacher talking time, 4 student talking time. For 2 and 3. Good. Okay, make a guess. Try to make a guess about number 2 and 3. Try to work out that. No ideas? Understanding talking time. Okay, fine. Question talking time, good guesses, but not yet. And no, it's not related to inductive and deductive. Okay, so now I will show you an answer key. The next slide will include the answer key, and I would like you to check whether you understand the concept or you need some clarification. If you need to ask about any of the concepts, please raise a hand and ask me about it. Okay, Wafa. Where's Wafa? Now you are unmuted, Wafa. You can talk.
Okay. What do you need, Mr. Yani, to explain or to do it?
No, I'm waiting for your questions. If you are unclear about any of the concepts.
Okay. I'd like to ask a question. So when
Yes,
number
please.
23, I cannot understand.
Number 3.
2 and 3.
2 and 3 you don't understand. Okay. So let me clarify this. QTT refers to quality teacher talk. Some people think that teacher talking time is always a negative sign of the teacher. So it has become a notorious concept, teacher talking time. All the time we tell the teachers to reduce their talking time. But actually there are some situations in class in which that you need to talk in class, and it is necessary for you to talk. For example, let me give you an example. When you give instructions, can the students understand what to do without giving instructions? What do you think? Yes or no? Of course not. They will not understand anything. They will get nothing to do. They will know nothing about the task. So this is a quality teacher talk. When a teacher, for example, gives feedback to students after giving an answer, whether to tell him, good job, yeah, you are right, or to say, or to help him to get the correct answer. You think this is unnecessary talk? Of course not. This is quality teacher talk. It is talking that benefits the classroom or benefits the students. This is why it's called quality. But some other time, the teacher talking is unnecessary, or the teacher is unaware that he is talking too much without a need for this. This is what we call unnecessary talking time. So we will see examples of this, don't worry, okay? Yeah, for example, a lot of explanation of a grammar point, maybe if it is not necessary, it will be unnecessary talk, like that, okay? So these are the different concepts. And now, so since we are talking about quality talking time or quality teacher talk, what kind of teacher talk, let me ask or pass the question to you now. What kind of teacher talk is useful and necessary in class? Please share examples of quality teacher talk. For example, as we said now, giving instructions. What other situations or what other purposes can you talk or you use your talk as a teacher in a beneficial way? Could you share your answers in the chat box? Yeah, CCQs. Yes, good idea, Dr. Muhammad. Great. Introducing new vocabulary, okay, classroom instructions, MCQs. But MCQs, do you mean multiple choice questions? So when we give students a multiple choice question, do we need to talk, or we just give them instructions and they do this themselves? Yeah, handout, MCQ handout. Explaining grammar. Okay, so I can see here Muhammad Faiz saying explaining grammar. Do you agree with Muhammad that we need to explain grammar? I think we can change the word explain to another word. What is that? Yes, elicit. Excellent. Good. Yeah, better to elicit the grammar. Yeah, sometimes you need to explain or to clarify a point, especially if it is not the main aim of the lesson. A student asks a question and you answer him on the spot. Yeah, in brief, but don't over-explain. Yes, great. Yeah, good job. Great ideas. Thank you so much. Okay, so some of the purposes of the teacher talk, some of the reasons why the teacher needs to talk in class is that the teacher's talk, the teacher provides input for students. As we said, we ask some questions, we give instructions, we give feedback, we ask CCQs to check instructions, we sometimes clarify a point in brief, a grammar point, we introduce vocabulary sometimes. So this is a kind of input that the teacher provides for the students in class. This is important. This is why we need to talk in class. Don't keep silent all the time. Yeah. The other thing is it's a kind of listening practice. The teacher talk is probably the most common way or exposure for students in terms of listening to English. We do not all the time provide students with recordings, but we all the time speak with the students, interact with the students, so this provides good listening practice. This is why we need to talk. Two main reasons for talking in class. Okay, fine. So these are some of the examples. Have a look at the examples and let me know if you have any questions. Shayma. Yes, Shayma. Let me unmute Shayma. Shayma. Yes, please, Shayma, you are unmuted. You can talk now. Hello, Shayma. Where are you? You are unmuted. Maybe by mistake.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Shayma, please.
So what do you mean by eliciting the information? I elicit the information from the student or helping the student to elicit the information?
What do you think? Do you elicit information or you help the students to elicit information?
Maybe both.
Maybe so what do you mean by students elicit information? Is this from you as a teacher, for example, by asking you questions?
Asking me questions, or I'm asking them a question and they are replying the questions or answering the questions.
Yeah, when you ask a question, you elicit information or you elicit language, right?
Yes.
And sometimes when they ask you a question, yeah, they are eliciting information. Yeah, this sometimes happen. So both can be both, but usually and commonly the teacher elicits information from the students. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Okay. Any other questions regarding this? Okay. Did you notice before leaving something? Did you notice that I did not read the list? I didn't. Why didn't I read the list? Yeah, not to lower TTT because there is no need to. You don't need. You can see the list of items in front of you. So if I talk, if I read them, this is unnecessary talk. Since you can see things, why should I talk or read them for you? Yeah, good. Great. Okay, now we have another task. Okay, so now we will watch a short movie, a very short movie. The events of the movie takes place in a class between a teacher and some students. The task is who talked more, the teacher or the students? This is one question. The other question is the purpose of teacher's talk. Okay, so while you are watching, take notes of the answers. Don't add the answers to the chat box. Take notes to the answers. After we finish, you can share your answers. Okay, so will you share your answers while you are watching? Yes or no? Yes or no? Good, right, okay. Now let's watch. Okay. Now, can you see and hear? Sound, picture clear? Okay, fine, good. Now enjoy.
Today, boys and girls, we're going to take a few minutes and draw on the pieces of paper in front of you something or someone you are grateful for. Taking the time for gratitude is so important for our peace of mind and our happiness. And it's a great way to remind ourselves how lucky we are for what we have and who we have in our lives. Afterwards, we're going to share what we've drawn with the rest of the class. Let's begin. Wonderful, class. Now, who would like to come up first and share what you're grateful for?
Me.
Yes, Sarah, come on up.
I'm thankful for trees because they give me oxygen.
That's wonderful, Sarah. Thank you so much. Who would like to go next?
I'll go.
Jason, come on up.
I drew my parents because without them I wouldn't even be here. And also they help me with my homework, and I love them. Chocolate. I'm grateful for chocolate.
Okay, Rebecca. Thank you. Simon, why don't you come up and share with the class what you're grateful for? Come on up, Simon. I'll be right up here with you. What are you grateful for, Simon? How would you like to play a game with your classmates to see who can guess whose hand you drew? Would you like that? All right, class. Can anyone guess whose hand Simon drew?
I think it's the hand of a policeman because they protect us and keep us safe. I think it's Simon's hand because he's grateful to have a hand. Is it the hand of God? It's your hand, Miss Sanders.
Well, did you enjoy the movie? Yeah, interesting, kind of. Well, now could you please share your ideas? First questions, who participated or took part more, teacher or students? So now opinions are divided here between the teacher and the students. Okay, so do you think that the students had the opportunity to talk and express themselves in this class? Yes or no? Yeah, right. Yeah, everyone expressed his opinion, expressed himself. Okay, so what do you think he was able to do this to express them? They were able to express themselves. Let me ask the question in another way. What if the teacher kept talking and talking? Would the students have the opportunity to talk, or would the students have the opportunity or the time to talk in class? Yeah, so this means that the more you talk as a teacher in class, the less your students have the opportunity and time to speak and express themselves. Do you agree with me? Okay, yes, good, great. Well, now the next question, let me ask you about 3 purposes the teacher used here to achieve. Could you write the 3 things in one message, please? 1, 2, 3 in one message. Again, please share your answers about the 3 purposes of teacher talk in this video. Well, fine, excellent, monitoring, testing. So, okay, so let me, yeah, great ideas. Let me share the screen again and comment on the video step by step. Picture sound okay? Right one. If it is okay. Picture and
Today,
sound.
boys and girls,
Picture and sound, please. Yeah, fine, good, okay.
we're going to take a few minutes and draw on the pieces of paper in front of you something or someone you are grateful for.
Okay,
Taking
so
the time
now,
for gratitude is
just
so
1
important
second,
for
please.
our.
Now, what is the purpose of talk here? Now, let's go minute by minute. Let's check this again. Yeah, giving instructions. She's telling students what they will be doing in the next few minutes. Like
You something or to take a few minutes and draw on the pieces of paper in front of you something or someone you are grateful for.
yes, this is what the students will be doing. This is giving instructions. Great, okay. So the next part.
Taking the time for gratitude is so important for our peace of mind and our happiness. And it's a great way to remind ourselves how lucky we are for what we have.
What is she talking about? She's talking about what? What is the topic she's talking about? Is it sport, gratitude, or music? Yeah, gratitude. See, she's setting the context for the students so that they understand what they are writing about and why they are writing. So she's setting them a purpose for the activity. So again, so giving instructions and setting the context for the students, which is a good way to talk in class. One of the benefits of talking in class.
Have in our lives. Afterwards, we're going to share what we've drawn with the rest of the class. Let's begin.
Okay, now students have started work. Okay, now let's see what will happen later.
Now, who would like to come up first and share what you're grateful for?
Me.
Now time for
Yes.
students to report back their answers or their work to the students, okay?
Sarah, come on up.
Inviting students to answer. This is one of your jobs sometimes.
I'm thankful for trees because they give me oxygen.
That's wonderful, Sarah.
That's wonderful, Sarah. What type of talk is that? Feedback, positive feedback. Do you think it is necessary talk or unnecessary talk? Unnecessary talk. Yeah, it's very important for the teacher to give constructive feedback to students, whether
Thank you
it
so
is
much.
to praise the students or even to correct their mistakes or to provide them opportunity to correct themselves. Okay, great. So as we can see, there are situations that we need to talk in class to provide students with as much support as we can, to give instructions, to set the context, to provide constructive feedback. Sometimes while we are monitoring, we talk to students to guide and lead them to the correct answers. And sometimes we need to ask natural or to involve in a natural conversation with the students. Sometimes it helps a lot in establishing rapport and feeling that the class is an authentic one. Okay, fine, good. So these are some of the situations that we need to talk, because I believe that many teachers recently changed their beliefs or wanted to go to the other extreme, not talking at all in class, supposing that talking in class is a crime, which is not true. Okay, good. Let's move on to the next activity. So as we can see, this is a kind of feedback, or this slide gives us the answers. Okay. Any questions about this part? Fine, good. So, okay, let me. So now let's move on to the other point, which is excessive talking in class. When you talk a lot in class, if you talk more than necessary, what are the drawbacks or the disadvantages of talking too much in class? Could you share your ideas in the chat box, please? So again, the question, what are the drawbacks or the negative effects of talking too much? If you talk more than necessary, what would happen? Yeah, good ideas. Excellent. Great. Well, it sounds like you are reading my mind, because I have added all your ideas or most of your ideas in the list. Okay, so let me see, or let's see the drawbacks here. So yeah, I will give you 1 minute to look at the drawbacks of excessive TTT, and let me know if you have any questions. Is there any other idea that you added which is not there in this list? Or if you have any question, please raise a hand. Do you need to add any more drawbacks to this list? Well, number 3, students stop listening. Well, imagine that every time you try to give instructions or try to give feedback or try to explain something, you talk a lot. You keep talking and talking and talking. The students can pick up that only little can be understood from what you say or can be important to what you say, which means that they will get bored, as you said. And next time, they will not listen to you because most of what you say is unimportant to them. They will not value your talk. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's like when somebody is a talkative one in your family or among your friends, you don't listen to him a lot, okay? You don't care for what he says because he's a talkative person. Okay? Yes, yeah, misbehaving too. So once the students are listening and they are bored, they will start making problems, they will start talking to each other. Agree with you. And now, the biggest problem is excessive teacher talk. What are the reasons for the excessive teaching? Why do we talk a lot? This is a question that we need to reflect on, to ask you ourselves. Why do we talk a lot in class? Could you please share your ideas? If you would like to share your ideas, speaking to discuss this with us, raise a hand and speak. If you would like, or if you like to talk in or to write in the chat box, it's okay. Well, Nasreen?
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome,
Hello,
Nasreen.
Dr. Lotfy.
Hello ورحمة الله وبركاته يا نسرين.
السلام
منورة.
عليكم. الحمد
عليكم
لله.
السلام ورحمة
رمضان
الله.
مبارك عليكم جميعا.
رمضان كريم عليكم يا رب.
إن
يلا
شاء
خش
الله.
علينا يا نسرين. قولي لنا بقى ideas بتاعتك.
Sometimes the reasons for excessive teacher talk, maybe sometimes the teachers are using to the traditional way of teaching. You know, a lot of teachers just they're not just focusing on this traditional way, and they say that this is the best way of teaching, just to get their students in just rows like this, stand in front of the class and talk for the whole session. And whenever you try to convince them that it's better to let your students share ideas, they say that the students cannot speak in English, so they cannot produce or introduce themselves or speak about any topic. Okay, and that's the rule to speak. I do try every time to convince them that this is not the way, and you have to speak in English in order to let them speak the language itself again. They are, yani, for shame, yani, they are insisting on this because they see that this is the right way of teaching. So this was one of the reasons that the
you mean the traditional ways, you mean the
yes,
teachers over-explain.
The mindset of the teachers, the schemata that they are using in teaching is still the same, just as it's always used to.
Yeah, thank you so much. Interesting idea. And this is actually, this is what we call over-explanation. The teacher wants to talk, wants to explain, wants to display his knowledge. Rather than letting students display their knowledge and elicit what they know.
Yeah, they see that they are they are the kings, and they have this kingdom, and they have to rule it in their own way.
Right. Thank you so much. Allah yanawar alayk ya Nasreen. Thank you. Yes, you have a point. Okay, now I think who else? Okay, Dr. Muhammad. Yes, Ramadan Kareem alayk, Dr. Muhammad.
Dr.
Lotfy, it's a pleasure having you in the
friend.
session today.
And now I'm very keen. Once I hear your name, I have to jump in.
Thank you so much.
It's not only me.
Pleasure and honor, dear Wallah.
I recommend you, wallahi, to a lot of people. MashaAllah alayk.
It's a pleasure.
Wallahi, Dr. Lotfy, I think answering your question, and from my own experience, when I find myself having high TTT, I would attribute this to lack of preparation. You know what, Dr. Lotfy? Because if I'm well prepared, I would know what to do and when to speak and when to give his students opportunity to speak. So I think lack of preparation is a key word here for the high teacher talking time, because the teacher just go by the book, exercise by exercise or page by page, without well preparation. But if he will prepare, he will give students more opportunities.
He's exploring the activity on the spot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting idea. Yes, I totally agree with you that no planning or without any planning at all, without any preparation, I think you will talk much, you will talk too much. But if you are well prepared, well planned, you plan your instructions carefully, the students will understand the instructions from the first time. You don't need to repeat the instructions again and again, which means that you will reduce your TTT. Totally agree with you, Dr. Muhammad. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Heba Osman. Pleasure and honor again.
السلام عليكم دكتور لطفي. How are you doing?
السلام
عليكم جميعا. Ramadan Kareem for everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Lotfy. Thank you so much. Just to answer your question, maybe one of the reasons, Dr. Lotfy, that I saw myself with many teachers, that they are so enthusiastic and so, compassionate about the topic, and they like to talk a lot because they are so enthusiastic, you see. So
they are excited themselves.
I saw many teachers doing this.
Yeah, and instead of generating interest in the students, they are generating interest in themselves.
Exactly.
Right?
To the extent that he's so and he's so enthusiastic, and he wants to talk a lot, or she wants to talk a lot, just to express herself and to make things clear.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
so
right.
they should
How to control this, Dr. Heba, in your opinion?
Well, the tips usually I give to the teachers: preparation before going to the class. And you should know, for example, while doing the lesson plan, anticipated problems, suggested solutions, so on. So good preparation is the way to solve this problem. Because when you have a good lesson plan before going to class, so you know that I'm going to talk about 1, 2, 3, but maybe some students will ask about. So this is anticipated problem. So what is suggested solution? So I go for, and I agree with what Dr. Roji said. Preparation is really important for teachers. It's like a roadmap. You are following a roadmap.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes, totally agree with you. If you have a roadmap, you will not walk a lot.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lotfy, for the opportunity, and thank you for the amazing sessions as usual. MashaAllah.
Yeah, always welcome, Dr. Heba. Thank you so much. Okay, so I think some other people, Shayma, please.
Hi. Sometimes I feel
Hi, warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sometimes I feel that I overtalk in the class when the students are not giving me a feedback. I'm teaching via Zoom, and sometimes I ask them a question and they don't reply. I say, guys, can you understand the question? They don't reply. Can you hear me? They don't reply. Then I find they can understand.
Then you answer the question, right?
They can understand. They can hear me. So I repeat again and I explain again. I'm so afraid that you don't understand, and they don't tell me that they don't understand. So I explain again. Sometimes I have this problem maybe every session, and I don't know why.
Okay, so do you think that this is a problem of the students or the teacher?
I'm afraid it's my problem, so I try to do my best to avoid this problem each time, but they keep doing it. I don't know. Are they big?
Because, I included this point in the next slides. I included the same points that you have. So I cannot control myself speaking like that.
Yes.
Yeah, all the time I want somebody to be talking. If nobody is talking, I'm afraid of silence, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Many teachers panic silence in the classroom. It's not a problem. Silence is okay. So give thinking time, give students to think. When the students by the way, students also panic silence. They are afraid of silence.
Yes.
Which means that when they see that you are not talking, they will feel that somebody should talk. So we should. Yeah. So this is the kind of encouragement. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Great idea. Thank you. Thank you, Shayna. Okay. Any other? Oh, Basant. Yeah, Basant.
Hello, Mr. Lotfy. How are you?
Hello, Basant. How are you? Nice to
Fine.
see you again.
Thank you. I was talking about just if me as a teacher don't anticipate my problems very well and I have the solutions or the right solutions for them, I will keep talking and talking and talking without any without stopping. Yani, if I got some student that I don't understand, okay, so I don't or I didn't anticipate the problem where مثلا the students can't understand this point. So I didn't put a solution for it. I will keep talking and talking without stopping. That's a point. The other point is if I don't grade my language through clarification stages or through the lesson itself, it will be a problem. I will keep talking and talking just to make sure that the student got all I want them to understand or to get.
So you see that you sometimes talk because you are afraid that the students might not understand what you said. So you repeat yourself to make sure that they understand.
Yes.
A great point. Yes, right. I totally agree with you. Thank you so much. So again, preparation, anticipating problems, which is part of the planning process, and overcare for students. Yeah, interesting point. Okay, so anybody else? Well, nice. Okay, fine. Let's go to the next. Move on. Reasons for excessive talk. In the following activity, we will see 4 examples of unnecessary talking time. Again, unnecessary talking time. Unnecessary, so I'm repeating myself now because I'm afraid that you don't understand, which is not right. Okay, what is the reason? Okay, so you will have 4 teachers. You will have 4 teachers, and I would like you to check why each teacher has talked more than necessary. Think for 1 minute, don't share any answers, okay? But please take a screenshot as fast as you can. Take a screenshot. Take 1 minute to think of each teacher. Why did he talk too much? If you have already taken a screenshot, please write one in the chat box. Okay, the question is, we have 4 teachers here, okay? Each of these teachers, this is number 1, 2, 3, 4, like, okay? Again, 1, this is 1 teacher. The second one, the third, and the 4th one. Each of these teachers talked more than necessary. He has extra language. What is the reason? For example, if you look at the first one, now I just drop this off the board and then we'll get on with the next exercise. Oh, where is the board, Raba? Here, like that. Why do you think? Could you share the answer in the chat box? Why do you think he talked a lot, this person? Number 1. This one. He's confused, no preparation. Yeah, maybe he's nervous. Kind of. Do you agree that he might be nervous? Because the fact says that when we are nervous, we talk much. We talk a lot, right? So he is talking, he's speaking his mind like that, just like Nihal says. Okay, so now we will do the same. We will try to figure out why each teacher is talking too much. Okay, so after you have taken the screenshot, I will send you to breakout rooms to discuss the reason for which each teacher talked too much unnecessarily. Okay, you don't have to write anything, just discuss. Find at least one reason for the excessive talk. Okay, so now let me ask you, do all the teachers talk more than necessary, yes or no? Yes, yes, all of them took more than necessary. This is the activity. And now will we think of at least one reason why they are talking much? Yes or no? Yes, do you have to write anything? No writing, okay. Now breakout rooms. Please join. Hello, join, 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 join.
or some realia to encourage the girl to talk about, because some students, they don't have enough confidence just to talk without seeing something in front of them. So this is an option. The girl can be encouraged to hold it in her hand and choose from it. She can ask her about the color. She can give her more options to elicit the answer.
So
not just a
maybe
word.
also here the teacher himself is not prepared, so he didn't
Yes,
prepare
that's what I'm
for
saying. The teacher
activity.
didn't prepare well.
Yes,
That's what do I mean, that the teacher didn't prepare her well, prepare herself well for the activity that she's going to apply. She has to prepare well before applying any activity. Even she has to know the personalities of her students. Some students are not self-confident. Some of them are below level. They have a problem in their oral skills. All these should be put into consideration, and the kind of question even should be put into consideration. This question, even the question she should put into her consideration, which question she's going to ask to which student, because some students, they don't have the oral skills to answer all the questions the same. She has to go to their level. She has to simplify it in different ways, not only by talking. She has to simplify it by realia, by flashcards, to encourage them to talk and hold something in their hands. That's my point of view. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, I agree with you. Yes, I agree with you.
Agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not
What about
prepared.
number 3? Could I have your attention? Here, maybe the teacher is just trying to get his students' attention, but he could do any other things like just clicking or using a gestures or somehow of this. And I think if he bought the supplements in the beginning of the year, that he will use these gestures or maybe the body language for setting the instructions inside the classroom, or for taking the attention of his students, it will be better. But because he's not maybe prepared or he didn't use the supplements at the beginning of the year, that's why
Yes.
This is the one that I was talking about. I think
they should, when they enter the class from the beginning of the lesson, they get out the books, and the books are ready. Okay, not to waste time, and they open the books following up with the teacher.
Instructions must be more clear and to the point, instead of saying, could I have your attention?
Yes.
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 Could you use one of attention grabbers instead of saying that? Could I have your attention? They can use one of attention grabbers.
Yes, like clapping inside the classroom, like raising up his hand, like saying
by another way,
or,
instead of asking them. Yeah,
it's said only one time. We used to say this only one time. Get out your books, students or guys, and
Hello, are you all back? I believe some people are still missing. Okay, fine. So now let me share the screen to resume our discussion. Number 1, okay? So let me say, we discussed number 1. We said that he is a bit nervous, and when we are nervous, we talk much. This one. What about number 2? Could you please share your ideas about only 2 in the chat box? What do you think? And if you want to speak or to discuss something with us, please raise a hand. Now, chat box, please. Why do you think the teacher number 2 is so much talkative? He talks a lot. What is the reason for that? Yeah, Hlem, he didn't let students talk, but why? No confidence, too much talking, so unnecessary, dictator, okay. Can't control. He has a problem giving short, clear instructions. You are close to the answer, Basant. Yes, it's related to the instructions, to the way you structure your instructions. First one, okay. So could you please think about these structures that you use? Could I have, thanks. If you're ready, it's not too much trouble. Could you possibly find, yeah. Marwa Bdir, yes, clap to Marwa. Yes, he's overpolite. He overly polite. Yes, he's trying to sound a lot polite in this way. Could I have your attention? Thanks, please. Could you possibly? It's not that way. Try to give instructions in a concise way, in a short way, so that students can get what you mean directly without much talk. So instead of saying, if you are ready and it's not too much trouble, could you possibly just find your books in your bags and open them up? How can you paraphrase this in a shorter and more concise way? Again, so how can you say the same or articulate the same instructions in a simpler, shorter, more concise way? Wafaa.
Simply, he can ask them to open your book.
No. Give the instructions. Imagine that you are in class and you will give the same instructions. Tell me what you say exactly to the students.
Okay, guys. Okay, open your book, page 56. Come on. That's it. So
that's it. Very simply. And even you can be polite saying please. It's okay, fine.
It's
an
you
have to say, can I have your attention? Thanks. Try it if you're ready and it's not too much trouble. Could you put why should I say that? No reason for this unnecessary talk, right? So sometimes the teacher tries to be or to sound a lot polite, overly polite, which means that you will need a complicated structure. And this is what we can call embedded questions. Embedded questions, you have two questions in the same one. So for example, I say, could you please tell me the difference, what the difference between the past simple and past perfect? Here we have two questions. Could you please? It's a request, yes, but it can, or do you know the difference, what the difference between the present perfect and the present simple or the past simple? So we have two questions, do you know, and the original question. So we have two questions in the same one, which is called embedded question. This is complicated and this is unnecessary talk. Do you agree with me? So this is, or don't be all the time polite. Don't be more polite than necessary. Okay, fine. Now, number 3. Yes. What's the problem here? Mu'min.
Yes. Like we were discussing in the point of in the breakout rooms, that this level is beginner, and the teacher was trying to de-stress or relieve the stress on the students. That's why once he noticed there was a mumbling or stuttering in her speech, he started to give some options, but the technique itself or the method was wrong. Like as Ms. Yasmin said, the best way to give some questions, like some choices. For example, I like pizza, ice cream, whatever, as an option to help. But that's why he took more in this part.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I do agree with you. Thank you. Thank you. Any other ideas? Umayma. Yes, please, Umayma.
Yes.
As far as I read from the example, that this was a question for a lower level student, right? So regarding to my experience in teaching lower levels students, there should be something in our hands to facilitate for them the answer. Most of them, especially at the beginning of the year, they don't have enough oral skills that can help them to give quick answers or answer. And some of them, of course, they don't have too much self-confidence. So we should show them something like pictures, flashcards, or realia. These things can encourage them to elicit the answer and to take answers from them. I think this is a way that was good. Yeah, it was good enough to let them answer and encourage them when they hold something in their hands or see something. This can encourage them to give answers and give them also some confidence to talk because they can describe it.
Excellent. Okay, good job. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I also see some interesting ideas in the chat box. The teacher doesn't give her time to answer, interrupting her. The teacher is not patient. Yes, which is true. He does not have patience. So once the student is hesitant, is trying to get the answer, is trying to think of the answer, the teacher is afraid of silence. I like, and the student kept silent. So if I were the teacher, I would first try to give her more thinking time to think. Then, if she doesn't answer, as you said, I would give her some options instead of giving the answer directly like that. So this is a necessary tool because the teacher is afraid. And one way, I think Shayma said something like this, or one of you, thinking. He doesn't give thinking time. I'm repeating the question again and again. I have seen many teachers saying, "Oh, where did the writer live?" In response to a reading passage after students have finished the questions. They say, "Where did the writer live? Where did the writer live? Where did the writer live?" Students are starting to raise hands. Where did the writer live? Where did the writer live? Where did the writer live? Like that a lot of times, repeating the questions again and again. Simply because he's afraid of silence. He thinks that silence is a bad sign of the classroom, which is not correct at all. Silence is okay. You need to convince yourself. You need to believe that silence is okay. Giving students thinking time. Don't go for the first one to raise a hand with answers because some teachers fall in this trap. When they ask a question, repeat the question, finally they find someone raising a hand, they go, "Okay, Muhammad." So what about the others? Why don't you give the others a chance? Because he is afraid of silence. Don't be afraid of silence. Silence is not a negative sign in your classroom. Okay. The last one, the fourth one. Oh, this one. So why do you think he's talking too much? أميمة, again. يلا أميمة خش علينا.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you were saying.
لا ماليش دعوة بالكلام ده. أنت نسيتي raising hand الايكون ماليش دعوة.
I'm sorry.
أنت دبستي وخلاص.
Okay, just tell me what you need and I can say.
Okay, so no problem. I'm just joking with you. Okay, you can think about the question, the task, and then get back to me. Repeating himself at the grammar lesson. He's giving example on the lesson. We don't know the lesson, actually. We don't know what the focus of the lesson is. We are not quite sure. Let me see. Okay, all of us will take part. Nisreen.
Okay, here the girl asked about a question, so she was asking only is that the present perfect in the sentence. The teacher here started talking and talking and talking, repeating himself using redundancy to speak about the traditional way of teaching the grammar. Just
تحس ان هو ما صدق. عارفه استاذ احمد سأله عشان
showing off his English language.
يعني يعبر عن نفسه بقى.
Yes, and this is the traditional way that all the teachers are using nowadays, and for decades. Okay, they are just using in this translation method. Okay, grammar translation method to teach their students the grammar, and they do not focus on the productivity of the students, of what they got out of this, taking grammar. They all the time they are talking about the grammar. Even when we are teaching nowadays the new curriculums for the Connect, okay, the series of Connect, all the teachers, when we give them some some training sessions on how to teach the Connect, they say, oh, but where is the grammar? Oh my gosh. So every time they are asking, where is it? There is no grammar in the book. We are not taking the grammar. Yeah, Jama'a, please, we are teaching grammar in use. We are teaching them how to use sentences, how to speak, how to talk. And
because they are used to doing this.
And I'm sorry to say that, but it's really in vain. We are trying to
okay, enough. That's enough. Control yourself. Thank you so much, Nasreen. Thanks so much. Okay, now Hiba.
Yes. السلام عليكم.
ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا يا هبة، ازيك؟
Hi, Mr. ازي حضرتك؟ There is a very important thing that I want to highlight.
Yes, please.
As we all know, there are two techniques to teach grammar: the deductive method and the inductive method. Nowadays, there is this weird trend, or I do not know what to call it, that grammar is not important. No, guys, grammar is way beyond important. It's mainly about the technique of teaching grammar and the.
But I think this is Heba, could I interrupt you?
Yes,
just
sure,
for 1 second.
Sure.
Yeah, because now this is a kind of far from our topic, from our main focus.
Yes,
so let me ask you if we can delay your input to the end of the session, if you please.
Yes,
okay.
Sure. Yes,
but if you have something to say regarding this picture,
yes, this is, I meant to say that the guy, from my own point of view, wallahi, I know you wouldn't, you probably won't like it, but I don't think that he has talked too much. He took the chance to remind the students of the present perfect, which can be helpful and useful to some of the students sitting there, and even to the student who asked the question herself.
But
so I don't think he's talked too much.
Yeah, thank you so much. But let me ask you, did the student ask about the meaning or the form of the present perfect?
No, she did not.
She asked you just about whether this is present perfect or not.
Yes,
right? Of course. So I believe that he over-explained, that he talked about something that the student didn't ask about. He could simply say what? He could simply say what? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yeah, I know, but yeah. Okay.
But if the students needs more elaboration, needs more clarification, she would ask. It's okay, right? Because we don't know even that the context, we don't know whether this is the focus of the lesson or not, but I guess it is not. Because if it is the focus, the student will not ask the question, this particular question. So it might be something else, okay? He may be distracted from the main aim of his session. Okay, so Saham, okay? Let's listen from Saham.
Yes, hello. I think it is a good idea to give the student just a brief idea about the tenses that they are going to apply in their class. What does it mean? What does it consist of? Then I step by step I encourage them, or I'll give them some rules or some examples to present the tense itself.
But let me interrupt you, Siham, here.
Yeah.
Just 1 second.
Yeah.
So, do you know the focus of the lesson? Yes or no?
Actually, no.
Yeah. We are talking about a very simple situation. The student asked a question, okay? Did the teacher answer the question?
If he
only said yes, it is. Did he answer the student question or not? If he said yes, it is.
Well, traditionally he answered, but maybe the student didn't get the answer he wants.
How do you know? But the student didn't ask about the meaning of the form, the present perfect tense. She asked, is this the present perfect? Simply, the answer is
yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Okay. So if the student needs more information, she would ask. The same way. She asked. Yeah. This is
you mean that she has a brief idea about the tense itself.
Yeah, sometimes you don't need to do this because this is considered over explanation. This may not be the main focus of the sessions. You distract yourself from the main focus and you may distract the other students from what they are focusing on.
Yeah.
So if for example, the focus is a kind of punctuation or writing or whatever, and then since you are talking about the present perfect, some students may be confused. What are you talking about? Whether you're talking about grammar, is it writing? They will be confused. They will be distracted. So whenever a student asks you a simple question like this, go simple and answer the question briefly. Like that, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, so these are, so I included some of the common reasons why teachers talk a lot. So as you can see, fear of silence. Sometimes if you are afraid of silence, you may feel that you don't want the silence in your class. So since nobody is talking, you are talking. You ask the question and repeat it. You ask the question and students don't answer, so you answer it. So this takes the form of repeating the questions or self-answering. You ask the question and answer it. Don't be afraid of silence. When you have or you ask a question, wait. Don't go for the first one to raise a hand. Just keep silent. Let students think. Let students raise a hand. Encourage those who are silent, who are not contributing. Encourage them using your eye contact with them. And let them talk and help them, even if they are silent, give them options. So if you are afraid and worried a lot about silence, you will not achieve your aims, you will not include many of your students. The other one is being nervous. If you are nervous, you will talk a lot. So be confident in class, train yourself to be confident. Regardless of nobody is visiting you, regardless of no one is attending your class, regardless of whether the students are new to you or you have met them before. The last way is overcare for students. I think this reason represents number 4, because he is overcaring. So he thinks that the students, oh, maybe the student doesn't know the present perfect. I will explain to her so that she knows. And this is not correct. She may already know, she is familiar. She may be familiar with the structure. So why should I give her input that she doesn't need? If she needs that, she would ask about it. And if she needs that in the middle of a class, which is not the focus of this particular area or aspect, I would say, okay, I will answer your question, but please, could you delay it to the end of the lesson? Like what I did with, I guess, him. Yeah, so if you think that the question is irrelevant, you can delay to the end of the class so that you don't confuse or you don't distract your students. Okay, Shaima, I will, but just delay the question to the end so that we don't get distracted. Trying to sound very polite, we discussed this point. Okay. Now, for example, let me give you example of how to substitute over explanation. So look at this activity. Can you explain when to use in, on, and out? I would like you to think of 1 minute about what you will say to explain this traditionally. Think for 1 minute. Now you will go into class and explain the difference between in, on, and at for certain places and time. What will you say? I think you will talk a lot. Now the question is, do you think that this will take too much time, too much effort, too much talking? Yes or no? If you want to explain, I'm talking about traditional teaching. If you want to explain, yeah, if you want to explain that traditionally, you will say in is used with so and so, on is used. If you talk about time, you will use it, so you will talk a lot. An alternative to this is simply, yeah, look, to provide a graph like that, which is informative, which gives a description and some information about in, on, and at, describing time or used with time and location. Let the students have a look at the graph and ask them to complete the sentence. Yeah. Just simply, you don't have to talk a lot. Students will explore the graph. They will try to figure out when you use Friday, and then they will answer. Then you ask the student, check in pairs, then provide feedback. Very simply. You don't have to talk. This is a grammar lesson, but you don't have to talk a lot. Okay. Now some tips, finally some tips for reducing TTT, but I believe that these tips are not enough. Could you add to this list? Use the chat box to add to this list. First of all, have a look at the list of tips, and then let me know if you have any questions and add to this list in the chat box. If you have any questions concerning the list, not any questions. Yeah, interesting ideas. Okay, so now this has been some tips for reducing your TTT in class. I believe that you need to train yourself to accept silence in the classroom, not to echo students' answer, not to self-answer questions, not to repeat questions. Use your body language, gestures like that to introduce vocabulary, use visuals, be confident, vary your technique, don't be nervous, train yourself to train students to help one another like that. That was it. And now I believe it's time for your questions. So please keep the questions to the point and to the topic of the session, okay? Questions and answers. Now, if you have a questions, please raise a hand. Sahel.
Mr. Lotfy, about the graph that you give us now, do you think that I can apply this technique in our national school, not the international schools? Is it easy? That our students understand the diagram or the chart or whatever I use to explain the tense?
Okay, if I answered honestly, will you believe me?
Yeah, sure.
So the answer is yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, they will train them. And if the first time they are not able to do that, it's your job to train students. One of the responsibility of the teacher, one of the responsibility of the teacher to train students to discover, to explore. This is our job. Our job is not to spoon feed them with information, but to train them to be self-directed, to be independent from the teacher.
Okay, thank you.
So
very
yes,
much.
yes, believe me.
Yeah, sure.
Try it.
Sure, I'm sure.
Thank
you very much.
Welcome. Okay, I see that there is someone else raising a hand. Shayma.
Okay. First, thank you for this amazing session. I loved it.
Thanks for your feedback. Thank you so much.
Okay, for the teacher number 3, if I have a case like this in the class, some student is hesitating to answer, he's afraid to speak, and I said, and the other students wanted to answer the question. I say, hands down, please, everyone, take your time, think, I'm listening to you, say whatever you want. Is this unnecessary speak or this is okay?
Well, you don't need to say all this. You just need to look at the students and use gestures, which means that you don't want them to raise their hand. Okay? This is why you need to use gestures and body language. Train students to understand your body language.
What about online teaching?
What about what? Excuse me,
online.
Come again, please. Online teaching? Yeah. Now, can you see me? Where is my hand?
Okay.
Where is my hand? Like that. So you can't see me, so I can use gestures. Well, in these situations, I recommend that if you see that the student is hesitant, you first give him thinking time, some time to think, patience. If you feel that he is unable to produce the answer, give him options.
Yes.
So, for example, if you say, again, the question, where did the writer live? And the student says he lives in okay, let me say, okay, Cairo or Alexandria, like that. So you choose one of that, okay? Past or present, so giving option is much easier for students. But if you feel that the student is unable, he's not talking at all, so you can refer to other students and say, okay, any help? So could anybody help? Just like let others talk. And speak, and thank the students for the effort he has put. Appreciate the effort, not only the correct answer. Never punish students for giving a wrong answer. Appreciate him. And then you ask him, okay, I will get back to you again. Okay, so like that. So be approachable, be friendly, and don't talk a lot. Don't tell students, don't raise a hand because I want to listen to him. I want to give him sometimes 2 things. Don't speak up out your mind all the time. Okay, thank you. Thanks for your nice question. Nashwa.
Yes. Hello, Dr.
Hello,
Dr. Lotfy.
Nashwa.
Hello, thanks for the wonderful session. Okay.
You are always welcome, and thanks for your nice feedback.
Okay, welcome, Doctor. About the part of QTT, okay, giving instruction and like this. The last one, number 7, modeling language. It's not clear for me. Could you please
modeling language, when you have a new word, for example, you want to introduce a new word, so you say the word. You say the word 2 or 3 times before you ask the students to repeat after you, right? This is modeling. Yeah.
Emphasize on pronunciation.
Yeah, when it comes to pronunciation. So if you are introducing language, vocabulary, for example, or grammar, any target language, you start modeling in the pronunciation work. You start by saying the word a couple of times. This is called modeling. Then you ask students to repeat after you. This is what we call drilling. So modeling from the teacher, from the part of the teacher. So and this is teacher talk, and this is necessary to teacher talk.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Lotfy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can say, I'm waiting for more answers. Thank you, Shayma. Yes, right. Okay. Yasmin. Yes, Yasmin.
Hi, Mr. Lotfy.
Hi, Yasmin.
I would like to thank you for this amazing session.
You are always welcome.
It was so beneficial for me. Thank you so much. So I would like to add a few tips on the slide that you have shown before you remove the sharing screen. One of the techniques I'm using is my class is the flipped classroom. to minimize the TTT for the teachers. So the students, they are the center of the class. And for each and every day, I'm asking one of the students to wrap up the lesson instead of me. I'm not the master of the class here. I'm not the sailor here. You're my helpers here. So at the beginning of the session, I'm asking the students, can I do by myself? They are repeating after me, yes, but of course you need our help. So assigning roles to the students, they know that I do appreciate their help in the session. One of them can start the teaching time. Another one can wrap up the lesson at the end. One can give a constructive feedback, or even come up to the board and at some points on the class dojo, for example, to encourage the rest of the students. So just stepping that inside the class, I know that I'm not going to do anything today. If this is the second time to conduct the lesson, the students will do it instead of me.
Yes.
So I'm saving my effort. I'm saving my effort. They are responsible for the learning process, and they are going to participate, and they are know that their participation is effective during the session.
Yeah, let me clap to you. Very interesting ideas. Thank you so much. Yes, very interesting. I use the same techniques with my students, by the way. Yeah, I like that so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Mohammed too, for sending the link on the Let's Academy group. Usually I'm not attending any sessions at the end of the day. Thank you so much for Let's Academy. Thank you so much, Mr. Lotfy. And I'm waiting for more beneficial sessions. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Yasmin. Now, Nisreen.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Lotfy, for this amazing, awesome session.
You're welcome, and thanks for the nice feedback. But I prefer to be called either Lotfy or Mr. Lotfy, but rather than Doctor. Lotfy is okay for me because I call you by name. You know, I'm okay to if you call me Lotfy or if you call me Mr. Lotfy, whichever is fine for me. But I don't like this Doctor because I'm not actually. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Yasmin. I'm sorry for interruption.
It's okay. But one of the techniques that I'm just gonna add something to what Ms. Yasmin said. According to what she said about the flipped classrooms, I do use this technique inside my classroom. Also, the technique that I use, and it really shows a great success in the national classrooms for this teacher who was asking about the teaching in the national national schools. I do work in a national school, and it's one
and it proved successful, right?
I'm not gonna say yes, but it was one of the techniques that I do use is that what is called the project technique. Okay, every time I give a session for my students, I ask them for a project. Okay, whether this project is not in the in the course book, I just try to invent something to make them innovate and create anything, just like making a cake inside back home. Okay, and then they podcast or videotape themselves while they are making this project. Okay, speaking using the language that we have already taken in the classroom, trying to produce the language, trying to speak about the ingredients, whether they were cooking something or whatever. So they are gonna speak about the ingredients and how they make it, and up till they go to the final product, they are using the language inside their homes, not even in the classroom, but also out of the classroom. I'm sorry, not only in the classroom, but also out of the classroom. They are using the language, they are producing, they are introducing themselves, they are trying to show their use of the language.
They can display their skills.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. And it's really great. Yes. And also I use this what we call one pager activity. It's also one of the project's activity that that really showed a great success. I asked them sometimes. For example, one day I talked about the global warming, and then I asked them, okay, now after I put them into groups, I asked each one of the group, each group to have a sheet of paper, which is A4 paper, or a sheet of paper from their own, notebooks. And then I asked them to draw everything they can imagine about this global warming.
Very interesting.
To draw, to color, and to write notes. Okay. And also I used it with in a training session with some teachers, and I asked them to to draw things and to write just tips and some notes about Ramadan. And really the teachers themselves, they were amazed about this activity. It only takes about 10 minutes to be prepared. Yeah. Okay.
You're excited, right?
Yes, and they were so excited, and they loved the idea. They always, when they told the teachers that ask your students to make a project, they say, how? We don't have materials. There are no materials. There are a lot of projects inside the course book, and we cannot do it. We have no material. Okay, you can just adapt anything you can in order to get your students involved.
Yes, sure.
To get use. But it's only I'm gonna say it again. It's all about the schemata of the teachers, the mindset.
Their beliefs, right? Yeah,
Yes.
what they believe. Yeah, what we believe directs the way or leads us to the way, whether it is the wrong way or the right way, like that. Interesting, yes. And Nisreen, yeah, I enjoyed your ideas actually. So another clap for Nisreen.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Very good. Umayma.
Yes, first of all, thank you so much for this interesting session. I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I entered from the middle, not from the beginning, but really it was so interesting, and it hit something that means to me a lot, especially this year. I would like to, I will not ask a question, but I will say one of the techniques that I'm using inside the class that can encourage students to talk a lot, or encourage those especially who are shy or have a problem in their oral skills. When I apply a group activity, I ask them to vote together who is going to be the speaker. And they have to accept the greater number of the votes, so they can learn from a younger age that we have to accept each other and accept that someone can talk on behalf of us. When it comes for a shy student, of course, when he or she discusses with her colleagues or with his colleagues, sometimes they feel more comfortable than talking to the teacher at the beginning. They give themselves some ideas, and they give each other help. Then when they finalize the answer, he or she is going to give me the answer as the speaker, as they are, as a group they agreed upon. And she prepares, or he prepares himself well before coming and saying the answer. And this is really a good technique that helps them to stand up and be and have a confidence while they are talking. Something that I use, and this can help to decrease the talking time of the teacher, and let them feel that they are leaders. And of course, motivation is very important in this part, to motivate them in different ways. Once they feel that they say something, even if it's wrong, sometimes I motivate them, even if they give a wrong answer, just because they participated. This can encourage them to talk and try again and again.
Yeah, this affects the students' performance positively all the time. You're giving them responsibility for their learning, and this is amazing. Actually, we all need this in our classes. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, any further questions? Nothing? So let me leave the microphone to Mr. Muhammad Ibrahim.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
It was a great session. I'm sure, mashallah, I'm seeing the interaction between you and the teachers.
Yeah, great teachers, actually, yeah. A lot of interesting, I learned a lot of interesting ideas from them, actually.
And people are sending me messages thanking me for this session, wallahi.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm so happy to have you as my guest as usual. يعني
It's my pleasure, Mr. Muhammad.
مبسوط بيك جدا زي ما انت عارف.
طبعا.
نورتنا وشرفتنا وعلمتنا.
ربنا يبارك فيك.
يا جماعه ان شاء الله يوم الخميس باذن الله معانا دكتور محمد رشدي، قامه برضو من قامات التدريب، يعني ما يقلش عن دكتور لطفي كده.
طبعا ده استاذنا الدكتور محمد.
من الناس اللي يعني الناس الاقوياء جدا جدا جدا، اللي برضو ان شاء الله هتتعلموا منهم، هنتعلم منهم كلنا يعني مع بعض
ان شاء الله.
هنتعلم مع كل نجم من النجوم اللي احنا بنجيبهم في رمضان. هنستناك يوم انا اسف الخميس، بكره الخميس صح؟ الجمعه، انا اسف. بكره الخميس احنا دكتور محمد رشدي يوم الجمعه ان شاء الله في ميعادنا العادي 10 بتوقيت مصر 11 بتوقيت السعوديه. مستنيينكم، بلغوا اصحابكم، بلغوا الناس المهتمين بالبروفيشنال ديفلوبمنت عشان يجوا يحضروا وينورونا. نشوفكم ان شاء الله يوم الجمعه، وشكرا دكتور لطفي.
الشكر ليك يا مستر محمد ولكل الزملاء اللي كانوا موجودين، اشكركم جدا.
السلام عليكم. تصبحوا على خير.
السلام. مع الف سلامه.